What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, and in today's video I'm here to go over the brand new Tekken 8 patch with you guys for season 2 version 2.02 we just got. And yeah, basically I'm going to go through the notes with you all, give a bit of a recap, some thoughts and opinions, and then kind of a conclusion on whether or not I think the patch is any good and what my overall thoughts and feelings are on it. But just before we jump into that, I want to let you guys know that I'm actually going to be doing a giveaway for a brand new Nintendo Switch 2. As you guys know, the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out in just a couple of days on the 5th, and I actually managed to get 2 pre-orders. I don't need both of them though, so I'll keep one for myself, and I'll actually be giving away the other one on stream if I hit the sub goal on my Twitch stream. So tune into the Twitch streams, maybe drop a subscription if you're feeling lucky. And yeah, on the 14th, on next week on Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm gonna pick a random winner in the chat and give somebody a free Nintendo Switch 2. So if that interests you at all, pull up to the Twitch stream. Anyway, that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this Tekken stuff, right? I'm super zoomed in right now. Most of this stuff isn't really particularly interesting, but there was one thing I do want to note before we get into the actual patch itself, or at least the character changes, and that was the change as it applies to rank points. So this right here, the rank point adjustment specification. In rank match, after a rank change occurs, the system will now compare both the rank point change based on the rank at the time of matching and the change based on the current rank after the rank shift. The more favorable outcome will be applied. Previously, even if players were matched at the same rank, a difference in rank caused by the match result could lead to the higher ranked player earning fewer points for a win and losing more points for a loss in a rematch, discouraging rematches. This update aims to mitigate that issue. So basically they're saying, you know how when you're in a rank match, right? Let's say you and your opponent, you're both Fujin, right? But you're on your rank up match and they might not be, or they might be on demotion match. So now you win the match. You're now what comes after Fujin. Is it Raijin, right? And they demote down either to Battle Ruler or they might just stay Fujin. Now the points that you would earn or lose shift now because of the difference in those ranks. Obviously, you get the most if you're at the same rank, and you lose more or less depending on whether or not your opponent's rank are higher. Now what the game does, it's going to take that into account, that change in your rank during the set, so that it chooses the more favorable outcome for you for the points, which I just found interesting. Whether that's good or bad, I don't really know, but I don't know. It was kind of like the only noteworthy thing outside of the character changes that I thought was really worthwhile. That being said, as we get into the character changes, actually, is it better if I highlight this so that's not like super bright white? I don't know. Low-key, I feel like with it being dulled down like that is actually a lot easier on the eyes. I low-key might just leave it like that. So yeah, if I fly through this, or if I gloss over certain characters, it's because this patch isn't very big. Probably not nearly as big as a lot of us were expecting or hoping it to be. And some characters got little to no changes, such as Alyssa, who all she got was a universal change that they did in this patch where they adjusted the tracking of heat smashes and made them, track less. If that first hit whiffs, they're not supposed to track anymore and hit you with the second or third hit or anything like that. So Alyssa gets the heat smash change. Then you move on to Anna. She also gets the heat smash change, but also her up forward 3 like string follow-ups, they got their tracking reduced, as well as her up back 1, up back 2, and up 2 now take half of her heat bar as opposed to only 240 frames of it, or I guess 40% of the heat bar. Also, there was apparently some change to Chaos Judgment take throw from opponent, but this stuff is actually a change that happened to Lars, so I'm not really sure what happened here. I haven't seen anyone yet figure out what this was supposed to be, but somehow this looks like it got copied and pasted from some Lars changes later on. Moving on, we have Asuka, who got the heat smash change, as well as her 91 Gusto forward 2 1+2. I guess it's more consistent now because it says block consecutively. When I read this, it sounded to me like that means that it jails now. I don't know. I honestly don't know off the top of my head if it jailed or not before. Maybe it does now, so that you can't get hit by the second hit, or if, what I'm saying? Like I don't fully understand, but it seems like it's a much more consistent thing now, which is a reoccurring trend that you'll see throughout this patch, is that they change a lot of things for the sake of consistency. Moving on, Azucena, all she got was the heat smash change. Then you have Brian, who also got the heat smash change and also had the hitbox of his QCF 1+2 expanded downward, just to make it again more consistent, so alleviate instances of whiffing for certain moves. So this makes it more consistent for like wall combos, because Brian needed more consistent wall combos. Now, jokes aside, as crazy as Brian's wall damage and carry and well almost everything is, yeah, that's fine. Then this is the big thing, right? Claudio's forward 3-2. This is probably the most broken move in season 2, and it got toned down a decent amount. Will it still be very strong or very viable? Is it still broken? I don't know. But this move, if you've been watching Mogul, if you've been watching Tetsu, if you watch Shadow, if you've been watching Speed Kicks on his streaming on Twitter, this move has been terrorizing people. Okay, so this is that gunshot move he has. It's a guard break. Yeah, that move. So where do we even begin with this? So the charge starburst version of the move has been the hitbox has been reduced, so it doesn't hit people behind him anymore. Also, it's no longer a plus 14 guard break, it is now only plus 12, meaning that he won't get the heat engager 3-2 that he got before, but it will still wall splat if he uses 4-3 after the fact. And then the tracking ability against side steps has been reduced. So tracking has been reduced, and then also the regular version's got the same change where the hitbox has been reduced in order to stop it from hitting behind him, as well as like less tracking. And then the non-charge version of it used to be +1, but now it's actually -9. So he is still losing his turn, but he's safe. You know what I'm saying? So he's giving up his turn. I say still. Before he was +1. He's losing his turn now, but he is still safe at -9. The move is still pretty good, just on paper or in theory, in my opinion, but it's not nearly as egregious as it was before, and that move was completely ridiculous. And then also his Wild Rising 1-1 had a bug where it was showing +44 on block instead of +9, which is news to me. That's hilarious. I wish I could have seen that so I could have reacted to it and been like, what the +44? Like, in what world? But yeah. Then we got a Devil Jin, who actually, before we get to Devil Jin, no Clive. There's no Clive anywhere on here. Clive got 0 changes. Devil Jin, of all characters, got nerfed again. His Morning Crow 1+2 and his new Hell Sweep move, they now consume half of his heat gauge instead of 40% like they did before. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 180, so it would have been 30%. Then we move on to Dragunov, his QCF4, you know, his little hatchet kick. That move has actually been, I guess, slightly buffed, but really just fixed. They made it so that it doesn't hit grounded anymore, but it was whiffing on characters like Zafina and Xiaoyu when they were in their low stances, so I'm assuming that it now will actually hit them. Eddie just gets the Heat Smash change. Fang gets the Heat Smash change, as well as less damage on his QCF1, and then his QCF2 goes from being -12 on block to -14, and then they change the counter hit properties of his back 4-2. So nothing crazy there. Then you have Huadong, his brand new move, the down 3+4, the high crushing homing low sweep that he has that puts him in stance. He used to have a counter hit property that would knock the opponent down. No longer has that. So now on counter hit and regular hit, it just does the exact same thing. One of those moves that they added to the game where it's like, oh, this character has this weakness, so let's give him this tool to cover this weakness. When it's like, well, having that weakness is part of his identity and what allows him to have the other strengths that he does. So it's like, it's a move that he really shouldn't have, but a lot of characters have moves that they shouldn't have now. So it's like, how do you fix it other than just taking the move away altogether, which they seem very scared and hesitant and reluctant to do, to just remove moves from characters. And well, that's how we end up in a situation like this. Also noteworthy, Heihachi, no changes, nowhere on this list. Moving on, we have Jack, who just gets the Heat Smash change. Then we get Jin, who not only gets the Heat Smash change, but also his 2-1-4 gets nerfed again. They changed the counter hit property so that it knocks the opponent far away. And it's kind of goofy looking if you haven't seen it already. I might throw a clip up of it if you haven't seen it. And then Zen 1 gets its hurt box expand, and then that's pretty much it. You'll notice that June is not here on the list. June got no changes, and June is a character who, like, I don't consider particularly broken or overpowered, but I could really do without installs in this game. If you removed every install from every character in this game, I think the game would be better. This is one of those things where it's like, why is every character a stance character with an install? And it's just, you know, is what it is. And I apologize, by the way, if this video comes off as if like I'm dooming or being pessimistic or like whining, or it's like, oh, Tekken players are never satisfied and no, because like I know I'm gonna see stuff like that, but it's like, we'll talk more. So anyway, Kazuya, he gets the Heat Smash change, as well as he recovers less heat from his up forward 1 while he's in heat. Sorry, I was drawing a blank there for a second. He recovers less heat, so he used to recover 120, now he only recovers 30. So nerf to Kazuya. But hot take, another thing that I just think shouldn't be in the game, there are certain mechanics that I have accepted are just going to be in the game, right? And heat dash, heat burst, those are things that's like, it just is what it is. But like, I really strongly and truly believe that no character under any circumstance should be recovering heat gauge. I think once heat activates, it should just be draining no matter what, and you should not get heat back for doing anything. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know, that's my opinion. Y'all let me know how you feel. Kuma and Panda get the Heat Smash change, as well as some movement bug fixes it looks like that they had before. And no King anywhere on the list. who thought King was fine as he is. I don't know, but hey, maybe the July patch will have more to offer. Then Lars actually gets a bunch of changes. Lars is a character that we've seen a decent amount more. Ulsan was just playing Lars. Nobi has been playing Lars. Arslan Ash was playing Lars for a brief moment, but then he ultimately went back to Nina. But we've definitely seen an uptick in Lars gameplay, and he was considered a top 5, maybe even top 1 character in the game. Well, they toned him down some more. So he gets the Heat Smash change. His limited entry 1 in heat now uses half the heat gauge as opposed to 40% of it. And then his down forward 113 gets a bunch of changes as well. So his down forward 1 is now -3. The full string is now -12 on block as opposed to being -8. So it is now unsafe and punishable at -12. Also has reduced pushback, which should probably make it easier to punish as well. And also gets a change to his running 1. So instead of being +7, it's now +4, which allows for more counterplay. It'll be easier to like step after you've blocked it, and you know, you might have some other options that you can challenge with. And then his back 1, they changed the counter hit properties of his back 1. It's still a counter hit wall splat move, but it no longer gives you a follow-up like out in the open. And then all this stuff here is like a bunch of fixes to like his stance stuff. They adjusted the collision detection with the opponent to make it more difficult to slip under a floating opponent, so that way this is more consistent. Then with Law, they changed DSS. So it's during Dragon Charge 4, change the opponent's behavior upon counter hit. I actually haven't seen specifically what the change is, but the counter hit is different now. Then also gets this jump change. Then we get to Lee, who I know has been a hot topic for the Tekken community and the Lee players, obviously, right? He gets a lot of changes that seem good. I don't know how happy this will make the Lee players, but he gets like a lot of consistency things and a little bit of a damage buff as well. So his back 3-3, they changed the damage from 9-9 to 9-12, so 3 extra damage on that. And they adjusted the distance between characters on the first hit to reduce the occurrence of the second hit whiffing. So sometimes you would get the first hit to connect and the second hit would still whiff. That will happen a lot less. They buffed the damage on back 4 from 17 to 20. His Wild Rising 2-3 is still a tornado move on hit. They did not change that, but it goes from being -14 to only -13. So a slight buff there. His Heat Smash does get the tracking change, but it also does 3 more damage now. So instead of doing 37, it does 40. And then you have his 1-2-2-3. They reduce the opponent distance when the second hit connects, enlarge the hitbox of the third hit so it whiffs less. So again, just a lot of consistency things here, making things connect when they should. I know League players have been letting me know that it's like, oh, it's not even about him like being weak or strong or like this move or that move. Like some of his stuff just doesn't work, and so more of his stuff should just work now. They did the exact same thing with his 2-2-3, and then his heat down 3+4. They fixed that as well. There was an issue where players could crouch to evade a follow-up high attack at an earlier timing than intended after blocking. It's no longer the case. And then he got the same jumping change that Law got. So yeah, lots of quality of life changes for Lee, as well as some damage buffs. Hopefully the Lee players are happy and excited about that. Nothing super crazy, but overall should help him a lot. I think there's a bunch of small things that'll probably add up. Then you get to Leo, and the only real change that Leo got outside of the Heat Smash change is that their heat low now takes 75% of the heat gauge as opposed to only 50%. And then we have Leroy here, who all Leroy got was the Heat Smash change. No Lydia. Lydia was not changed at all. Then we get to Lily, who she got a change to her 3-1 and her 3-2, just basically made it a little bit more consistent, a little bit better tracking on it so that it connects properly. Paul gets a slew of changes here. Paul's a character that I think is kind of nuts, and I'm surprised we don't see more of him, to be honest. And the noteworthy change here, like he gets the Heat Smash change, but also his Heat Smash goes from being -12 to -14. Why was it ever -12 in the first place? I don't know. I feel like all low heat smashes should be launched punishable, personally. So he's still low-key getting away with murder here, IMO. But -14, I'll take it. Better than nothing, I suppose. Yeah, and then speaking of why was this ever like that, his Death Fist in the heat, QCF2, it was -6. It was safe. Why? Now it's -13. So not launch punishable, but you know, punishable. So I'll take that. Get some other changes here, like this, you know, is 4-4-2, 1+2, costing more heat, so taking like 50% of the bar and doing a little bit less damage and stuff like that. But these are the two big ones to me: the Heat Smash and the Death Fist. Thank you, gladly taking that. Reina just gets the Heat Smash change. Shaheen just gets the Heat Smash change. Steve gets the Heat Smash change, but also his, like, Steve's Heat Smash damn near felt like it was just a straight up homing move. And it no longer is. Victor gets the Heat Smash change, Xiaoyu gets the Heat Smash change, and also her Hypnotist 3 now takes 75% of the heat bar as opposed to 50%. Yoshimitsu gets the Heat Smash change, and then also they gave him they made it so that his Kincho 2 1+2 now takes more heat. So instead of doing like, or taking like 15%, it takes like 35% now. And then Zafina just gets turbo buffed out of nowhere, where all her moves that basically reduce her health, the amount of health that they consume has been reduced by a lot. So everything that took 18 now only takes 10, and her Scarecrow down forward 1 that took 24 now only takes 18. But she gets this one nerf where, you know, this move now takes 75% of her heat bar. But like, I think a lot of players thought her back 1+2 needed to be nerfed, and it got buffed. So that's rather interesting. I find that move personally like one of the most obnoxious things in the game right now. Not even just because it's strong, but also just even like the animation and the sound effect. Like, it's grating on my ears, it's harsh on the eyes. It's actually just like, wow. And they buffed it. So yeah. And then that's pretty much the patch, and then some bug fixes or whatever. But basically, like, I made a tweet, and let me just read you this tweet real quick. The tweet reads, "New Tekken patch isn't bad, but it's not much to be excited about. Another very small baby step where they seem hesitant to make any big changes. Slaps on the wrist for characters who are getting away with murder, and then characters like Alyssa and King untouched." Yeah. And that pretty much sums up my thoughts on this patch. Overall, I would say that it's pretty underwhelming. It's just it's not a bad patch. Like, I don't want to say it's bad, but it's just nothing to get like super excited about. They made like some really big changes with season 2, and I get it. It's a whole new season. It's something that was in development for quite some time. They already had plans for it. It was a work in progress, whatever. It's a whole new season, right? So you expect big changes and everything like that. But I feel like the only way Tekken's ever gonna get to a spot where like a large portion of the player base is like truly happy and excited again is if they make big changes in the other direction. They've had 3 patches now since season 2, if I'm remembering correctly, right? And I would say all those patches have been good and they've been in the right direction. But it's like, let's just say if season 1 was just like, let's just pretend for the sake of, you know, visualization, that season 1 was like at a plateau, right? Let's just say we were at this level, and then with season 2 we plummeted, right? Like very drastically. And now with these patches, it's like slowly getting like tick after tick after tick. Like we were just like this, and low-key people were starting to like kind of feel Tekken 8 a little bit more, and we take a drastic dip, and now we're like slowly going up, like the start of a roller coaster, you feel me? And it just, I don't know, like I said, it's not bad, but it's just like, it's just not what we really truly want. Like, there's good stuff in here. Like, obviously the nerfs to Heat Smash, I would say, are good. They nerfed Heat Burst in the last patch. That was good. They toned down, like, it just, I don't want to be a doomer. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm not trying to be super entitled or anything like that, or ungrateful. But simultaneously, I also want to keep it real and let you guys know what I'm really thinking and how I'm really feeling and everything like that. And I'll still play the game. I am, you know, getting back into it and like trying to practice and learn and play some more. Because things do seem like they're going in the right direction. But if this next patch in July isn't significantly bigger than this one, I think players are going to be very, very, very disappointed. And again, I know that some people are going to be like, well, they'll just never be satisfied. They'll just never be happy. Like, how can you be disappointed? Like, you're getting what you want. It's never enough. And like, if you're somebody who thinks that way or is saying those things, you'll just simply never understand. You're somebody who probably has a significantly lower standard, or you play the game at a low level and it just doesn't affect you, or you don't care either way, or you play the game very casually and you play it so little that it just doesn't affect you, or you'll just never understand just out of ignorance. That's kind of how I can only look at it. I want to reiterate something that I've said before, that the reason why the game is trending in a better direction and why we're getting good patches that players do somewhat appreciate or like, but it's just not enough, is because we've been vocal. It's because we've made our voices heard, we've talked about it, everything like that. Otherwise things wouldn't be going this way. But it does feel to some degree like there are things that are blatant that are being missed, and other things that are like just very confusing. Like, why is Zafina getting buffed in the way that she is? And like, why are characters like King and Alyssa like not getting toned down? Lydia, Asuka, like they've got some really ridiculous and egregious stuff that's just being allowed to just, you know, and maybe they'll be focused on in the next patch. I guess only time will tell, but it's just like, I feel like I just been saying that over and over. Time will tell, time will tell, time will tell, and time keeps going by, and we still haven't gotten the full story. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like we're reading a 100 chapter book, and we're on chapter 7, and we're getting 1 chapter a month. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I jokingly said, I think during my stream, or maybe it was during the adjustment policy video, that I was like, yeah, by the time we get to season 4, we'll have a pretty damn good game. And it's like, you know, but really at this rate, like maybe by the time we get to season 3 though, really, because like right now they should probably be working to some extent on like the 3rd season, right? You got to imagine they already have plans for what season 3 is going to look like. I know they're still working on season 2, but they're probably in the planning stage, like mapping things out for what season 3 is going to entail, because they already know everything that they're doing for season 2, right? They already know all the characters, costumes, DLC, and all that stuff. That's already all planned out. They're making these patches right now, but they're probably at the same time like planning and scheming, if they haven't already finished that process, for season 3, whether it's going to be the characters, the updates, changes they want to make, and stuff like that, right? So I would like to imagine that, I don't know, I want to be optimistic, but who knows? Every time I put my faith into a company, they let me down. This is why you don't trust corporations, right? So I don't know. This video wasn't meant to be like so doomer, but I feel like that's what it is, because I do think it's a good patch. It's just not much. It's just not a lot, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ever seen the gif of like I think it's what's the homie's name? Y'all know the story about the Scrooge, and they did like a Disney version, so the duck is like Mickey's like slicing bread for his kid, and it's like that super thin see-through slice. I forget the characters' names in the Ebenezer Scrooge story, but you know what I'm talking about, right? That's what it feels like. It's just like, oh, here's a little slice, there you go, hope that'll keep you fed. It won't, but it's good, not great. It's really underwhelming, and that's pretty much the gist of it all. I could sit here and ramble a bit more, but I'm just gonna wrap it up there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay tuned for all awesome content I put on bringing you. With all that being said, that's pretty much all I have today, and remember, nothing can happen until you swing the bat. Later.